107.5 The Game Podcasting is sponsored by Modern Exterminating, a family-oriented company. Professional, honest, and dependable pest control solutions. We're your one-stop shop for all pests.
I can't say that I've agreed with Shane Beamer on a lot of things this year, and he said something else yesterday that I'm just like, all right, whatever. But social media being the death of us all is one of the most accurate things he said, because the things that get put on social media, false, true, whatever, absolutely ridiculous. And how did you address this yesterday? Was there any discussion?
Because again, the presser was in the middle of the show, and when it came back to our show, I did say, all right, well, there, if you had any, thought that might have been true, because apparently Clayton White came in, walked into the room like with his fist up, basically, like making fun of it too. Because I saw this being speculated about on Sunday or whenever it was about the supposed fight the two had. And I guess when you're a fan or on the outside, I guess envision when a program's in the situation that Carolina's in right now, being 3-7. It's been a disappointing year. You embarrass yourself on Saturday with the collapse in the second half. I think you kind of just envision the house on fire, right? Like everything inside that building is just chaotic, and people are at each other's throats, and there's papers flying around everywhere. That's not necessarily the case. And I guess if you want to throw two coaches throwing hands with each other, why not, I guess?
I don't know if I've ever seen a year that I've been alive. Maybe some of you can go back to the 80s and the 90s, Brad Scott's. Yeah, I don't, again, vaguely, Tyler, I'll go back to 98. Brad Scott goes 1-10. To my knowledge, to my recollection, I don't think Brad Scott was necessarily on the hot seat going into the 1-10 year.
Yeah. And look, that was a different era of college football. The expectations and standards of what we held coaches to, their salaries were a lot different back then. It's a different game now. And we're very much in an instant gratification society, and that's especially true as sports fans where, look at James Franklin, who we just saw being talked on SportsCenter about as the new head coach of Virginia Tech. That guy was coaching Penn State in a playoff semifinal 10 months ago, and now he's at a completely different place because he's been fired. Like, that's how quickly things happen in college football. And again, we're operating on the assumption that Beamer's done enough up to this point to guarantee that he's going to be back coming up next year. Now, the next two games go sideways, maybe that changes, but up to this point, we feel pretty confident saying that he's going to be back for 2026 and get an opportunity to redeem himself for what this disappointment of a season has been. But again, we can never say everything with 100% certainty.
I haven't looked at all the tiebreakers. Do we know who technically Texas A&M, and is it Alabama, because they Alabama have the win over Georgia? Is that right?
So Alabama has the head-to-head win over Georgia as of right now, and if Alabama were to lose the Iron Bowl, they'll put Georgia in because they have the tiebreaker win over Ole Miss. It goes from that to total win percentage of your opponents. If it gets to that, after that, it's like where you're ranked at.
Yes.
Like there's unlike women's basketball last year, there's more than two criteria where Greg Sankey has to flip a coin on national television, which they have amended this year because that was goofy. So, there's a lot of steps to go through in terms of tiebreakers. But right now, if A&M wins out, considering the fact that Texas lost this past weekend, A&M would still be in with the loss to Texas. And if Alabama beats Auburn, they're in too. That's the simplest math you can do.